Hello, today I'm going to talk about Car Wars from Steve Jackson Games. Came out in several different versions. This is the third revision, and it's from 1983. Comes in this hard plastic shell box. It's a 4x7. I like the cover art. It's detailed enough and gives you a sense of the theme. Where the right of way goes to the biggest guns. Players choose their vehicles, complete with weapons, armor, power plant, suspension, and even body style. Then they take them on the road to come home aces or to crash and burn. Highly realistic grid system controls movement. If the player's character survives, his abilities improve, and he can accumulate money to buy bigger and better cars. Playing time, 30 minutes and up. Any number can play. Game designed by Chad Irby and Steve Jackson. And also a bit of the theme is shown here, kind of showing the dystopian world. 9 years ago, Supreme Court decision decriminalizes manslaughter in arena games. Death sports become popular. And then it kind of goes to more of a kind of Mad Max thing. Components. My copy didn't come with dice, and it doesn't list dice as one of the things included, but I was going to use some small SPI dice I had laying around. And then there's the rule book. Again, it fits in the 4x7 container, and it's 24 pages. And that comes with sheets that you cut out, shown here. And they include a couple, there's 4 tracks, but here's a couple of them. The regular track, and then the other side is with debris, and that's also shown here. These are also tracks. This one has the vehicle planning sheet and an example kind of filled out, and then there's also a track, and in the back it's got the arena option here with some arena rules. Then we have the maneuver and control tables, the stock car shopping list, the movement chart. And the counters are pretty basic but functional. They're kind of a card stock. They're not as thick as normal counters. And they're anywhere from 1/4 inch by 1/2 inch to 1/2 inch by 1 inch. And they're one-sided. 103 total counters. So the unique counters are 16 car and truck counters here. 6 cycle counters, you can see they're smaller. 22 record counters of cars and cycles for the movement chart. 4 smoke clouds, 4 paint clouds, 6 black oil slicks, 4 obstacle counters, 12 small debris counters, 6 small pedestrian counters, 6 tire spike counters, 4 drop mine counters, 2 wreck cycles, 3 wreck cars, 4 sets of speed and handling counters. So here's the setup. Got a couple of tracks set end to end. I decided to go with, the first one's clear, but I decided to go with the obstacle side for the second one. And then there's the vehicle planning sheet and the vehicle record sheet. So I'm going to be doing a couple of stock car plans. I'll be doing the Intimidator, which will be the yellow, which is shown here. It's a station wagon. And then I'll do the Vigilante, which is a pickup, and I'll be using a variant of that called the City Cowboy. The skills of driver, gunner, and cyclist, they all start at 0 since it's the first one. Well, for the reflex, first for the Intimidator, 3, and then for the Red Vigilante, they get a 5, which means if they get a 5, they get a bonus. They can increase their effective handling by 1. This is stock, so you don't have to do the vehicle planning sheet, but I thought I'd show it up here for kind of see what's going on. So the vehicle planning sheet is to keep track of the costs and weights and spaces. With all the components shown in the Intimidator, comes out to $17,400. The weight, sum it up, 5,200. so that you take that weight, and with a super power plant, it has a power of 2600. You divide that by the 5200, which gives you 1/2. And since it has a ratio of 1/2, it means that has an acceleration of 10. But if they add a little bit of cargo, they'll be on that half. They'll get to an acceleration of 5 instead. But this is just kind of the bookkeeping of how to take care of that. Then the vehicle record sheet then. So as shown for the components, it's a station wagon. And then you sketch in here the different items, which is kind of interesting how you do that. It's got a standard chassis, improved suspension, super power plant. So super power plant is shown here. It's got 12 DP, damage points. Puncture resistant tires, which each have 9 damage points indicated here. It's got a turret, which you have to pay for, and then a laser with 2 damage points. Driver's got 3 damage points. Also can allow 11 cargo, although I won't be carrying any cargo. And then the armor, you mark it around. The front is 25, right is 15, left is 15, back is 25, top is 30, and the Under Armour is 15. There's a 1 laser on the turret. Handling class of 2. So that's straight from the stock car option. And then the Vigilante over here, I did one variation of that. It's a pickup with extra heavy chassis, heavy suspension. And again, that's all captured up here in the cost chart. For instance, for the body size of pickup, it costs $900. It's got a weight of 2100. Chassis strength, it's extra heavy, which means the price is equal to the chassis. Suspension, it's also heavy, but it gives you a better handling class. And then tires, it's got solid tires, and it's also got 6 of them, so they cost more and adds more weight. But they have more damage points of 12. And then similarly for the weapons, you capture those weights, and the weapons information comes from this weapon chart. So for instance, for the recoilless rifle, which they have 2, it's a 7, and then the damage information, and it's 4 DP, price is 1500, weight is 300, again capturing that here, you got 2 of those. And for the laser you don't need ammunition, but for the weapons you do. It shows the shots and the cost per shot and the weight per shot, and you capture that information. So it's 35 cost per shot for a recoilless rifle and a weight per shot of 5. So you capture all that on here. So I'm doing the option called the City Cowboy, where it gives you an initial armor, but it lets you have a total of 275 points. So it's quite beefed up. Distributing them the way I want to, then the top would be 45, front is 45, right is 45, left 45, back 50, Under Armour 45. Neither of them have a gunner. It's got a smoke screen in back. And also you have to pay for the ammunition for that. It doesn't have any, you can't haul any cargo because it's right at its limit. Normally it would have cargo spaces. Acceleration of 5 miles per hour. And so the acceleration here is with a super power plant, it's 2600. And here the weight is either 7650 or 7800, depending on if you have a gun or not, and I don't. But the ratio of that is it's between 1/3 and 1/2. So since it's less than 1/2, its acceleration is 5. So it's set up down here. And then since we have that +1 handling class, I'll make a note of that. It's got a 4 handling class. So I'm doing this scenario road duel. slight variation of that. 2-player road combat. Each has 1 car. Each player gets a fixed budget, 10,000, 1,500. I went a little bit above that, but it's okay. And then they each picked one from the stock car list. Then they roll to see which car starts in front. Here's for yellow. Here's, which is the vigilante, I'll just call him yellow. And then red is for the intimidator. So yellow goes first. And then you roll to see how far in front he is. Roll 2 dice. So he's 5 inches in front. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's the starting positions. And the winner is the survivor. And I decided for the markers over here, they have speed and handling ones. I'm just going to use the extra pink markers I have here just because they work better visually. And they both start at 60 miles per hour, which indicate. And then the handling, the yellow starts at handling of 2, and then the red had 3 + 1 handling, so they're starting at 4. So here we are a few turns in. Speeds are, red is going 60 and yellow is going 40. And there's been some damage so far. Since yellow has been in front of red, it's been shooting back at the front of red, and red's taken 7 damage on their front armor. And red has shot up with red has taken a couple of shots with its recoil rifles and used the ammunition for that and done some damage to the rear armor. Got it down to 18. So we start out where their handling is. Handling track's at 4 right now. They're not just starting the turn. Set up on the movement chart here. Then I'll do the first movement, which is red is going 60, so we move up here. Makes a move. He's just going to go straight. Move the track again. Now both yellow and red move. Red's going to do a drift, which is a D1 maneuver to kind of move in here. And because of that, it's a D1, so he reduces his handling class down to 3. D1 means you reduce it by 1. And yellow also moves on the turn. They're also going to do a drift to kind of get away here. They do a D1. That reduces their handling track down to 1. They don't have to do a roll yet because they're still positive. Then we'll look at combat. So red's going to fire. They're going to fire their recoilless rifle in the turret at the left side of yellow. Recoilless rifle needs a 7 to hit. They do hit. And then damage is 2. So you roll 2 dice. 4 points of damage on the left armor of yellow. They reduce their shots they can take now because I used 1 ammunition. And the character can only fire once per turn unless it's linked, but it's not. So that's his firing. Yellow's going to fire as well. They're going to do their laser turret, and laser turret here is a 6 hit. They hit. For damage, it's 3 die roll. 7, 9, and they're firing at the armor, so they're firing at the They'll go with the front armor of it. 9. Knock it down. That's all the firing they can do that turn. And then they'll keep moving. Again, they can both move now. He's going to keep going straight. Move sequence again. He's going to move up, but he's going to do a drift, which is a DC1. So reduces his handling track. He's still positive, though. He's going to move down to 2. Next movement. Both go again. And that's the last movement for yellow. But red can move again, and they're gonna do another drift. To go right next here. And that'll reduce his handling track to 0, to 1, but he's still positive, so he doesn't need to make a roll on the chart yet. They're going to go to the next turn. Then we'll figure out what speed they're going to go at. They can decelerate or accelerate. Yellow's going to speed up. They want to kind of get out of there. So they're going to move up to 55. And this is done secretly, of course. You don't know what's going on. And actually, red's going to slow down a little bit to kind of catch the back of yellow, I think. So they'll reduce down to 50. Again, not knowing what yellow's doing. Then we reset the handling track to their initial state. So 4, 2. So we go up here. And yellow's going 50. Red is going 55. To the first movement. They both go. So red's actually going to back away a little bit. They're going to do a steep drift, which is a D3. So he marks his handling down to 1. Then yellow's just going to go straight. Then we do the next movement. Only red goes. Before he moves though, he's gonna fire. And he's gonna be doing his recoilless rifle. And there's a line of sight there, so he needs a 7. He hits. Roll 2 dice. 8. So he's gonna do 8 on the left armor of yellow, so he's got him down to 3 there. And then he moves. Next movement. Just yellow goes. They're going to do a swerve. DC1, so he'll knock down a 1 there. And he's going to fire. He's going to do his turret laser. And there's a line of sight there. It's 3. He needs a 6 or better. He misses. Then next movement. Doesn't move. But red moves. And now he's going to go up and try to cut him off. Actually, he's going to do a steep drift because he's going to try to cut him off. And that's a D3 move. So now that marks him down to -2. And then we look at the control table. Rolling the -2. 2. He's going 55. So if you roll the number shown or higher, you keep control, so he's okay. You got 2 or higher. So he's alright. The next move. Only yellow moves. Next. Red. Then yellow. And yellow's going to do a swerve, which is a D1 move. But that gets him down to 0, so he's still okay. Now he's changes his orientation a little bit. Then red. Keep going straight. Yellow. It's going to do another swerve again. It's time to get back straightened out. And that puts him down to a -1, so he has to roll on the control table. And he's going 50, so he's automatically okay. So after all. And then lastly, red can do a move and a half. So finally red moves. And it's the next track they're coming up on has an obstacle right here. And since he has to do a half move also, and a half move puts him up half inch, he'd be hitting that obstacle. So he needs to do some maneuver to avoid that. So he'll do a drift first before he does his half move. So that'll just get him just to the side of that obstacle. But because of that, that gets his handling track down at -3. So now he has to go on the -3 control column. And his speed is at 55. So the control column of -3 at 55. He needs, if he gets a 1 or 2, he's going to have a problem. And he gets a 2. So it goes across table 1 for maneuvers, and 2 would be for hazards, but he's doing a maneuver, which is shown here. So you roll 1 die, add or subtract the modifier for your speed, give him the control table. Shown here. If you get a -1, 0, or 1, it's a trivial skid. It's same orientation, but it moves 1/4 inch. Same direction. 2 is minor skid, but skid's 1/2 inch. Moderate, skid's 3/4. Severe skid, 1 inch, and it takes 2 points damage. 5, cartridge sideways and rolls, decelerates, etc. 6-9, but the vehicle is burning. So we'll see what happens here. So speed is 55, so his modifier is 1. 5. So that's not good. So he gets a 6. And his car turns sideways. Decelerates at 20 miles per hour per turn, so he'll drop down to 35 next time. Each phase it moves, it goes 1 inch in the direction it's traveling and rolls 1/4 of a complete roll. Takes 1 die of damage on the side rolled onto each phase. So he rolls, it's rolling on his left side, take a die of damage, 6. So on his left side, he lost 6 points. And then also the vehicle's burning. So if the vehicle has a fire extinguisher, it may put it out, but since he doesn't, the fire extinguishers don't put the fire out at the end of the turn, does 1 hit of damage to each occupant, each vehicle component, and armor on each part of the car, so it's a big deal. So the occupant takes a hit, all the armor. So the vehicle takes a hit, rifle takes a hit, power supply, smoke screens, rifle. So hopefully that gives you a little sense of the play. So that's Car Wars from Steve Jackson Games from 1983. Obviously it's got a lot going for it. I guess that was right when video games are starting to get more intense too, so I suppose a lot of people might have migrated for something like this to actual, computer simulations of the race, but I still think there's a lot of value in the whole planning and plotting it out. It's quite a bit different than a video game, obviously, because you need to think through like each second of what you're doing rather than just kind of intuitively doing things. Definitely unique for its time. Components are kind of thin, but it's a mini game and they have to be that size to fit in the box, but you can easily scale this since it's on a grid. You can make the grid size anything you want and then have 3D cars to go on the grid, and I'm sure a lot of people have done that. Quite enjoyable. Definitely recommend it. I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Thanks for your time.